The song that is playing right now is roughly translated as Meeting People or The Gathering, a song that I believe best illustrates the musical aesthetic of Generation 1 of Monster Hunter. Now, I've listened to the soundtracks of the series for years, and I wanted to discuss how the music has transformed over the series' 5 generations, starting with the first generation, Monster Hunter, its expansion, Monster Hunter G, and Monster Hunter Portable. Generation 1 brought with it the theme song of the whole series, the iconic Proof of the Hero. However, I have some reason to believe that this wasn't actually the first pick for the series theme song, although I don't really have any proof of this. At the end of the original soundtrack disc, called The Time Has Come, this song was used in the original beta trailer of Monster Hunter 1. With this song basically matching the Kokoto Village theme, it can be argued that this is sort of a main theme of Generation 1. The Time Has Come has never returned in later Monster Hunter titles, though I don't believe it really needs to. The aesthetic of Generation 1 is light fantasy, focusing on a vaguely medieval world. The music matches this with the instrument choice focusing mostly on a light classical orchestra, with bardic instruments to invoke the feeling of both heroism and pub dwelling, which is kind of the two main stages of the game, hunting and drinking. The composers for Generation 1 are listed as, I won't say them because I don't want to butcher their names. While I believe they did a fantastic job on this soundtrack, I also stand by my opinion that Generation 1 hasn't really found its voice yet. It's not Monster Hunter yet. It's just like a light fantasy mood. However, the one song that really stands out from the rest is the Mindgard town theme, called A Day in Town. This song's instrument choice contradicts the classical orchestra used in the rest of the game. It's one of my favorite tracks in the game, actually, because it feels so authentic and organic. It's not really trying to impress you. Now, I want to talk about the actual monster hunting music, because isn't this what it's all about? But before then, I have to explain a little concept I've put a bit too much thought into. I believe that every Monster Hunter song can fit into a triangular graph, the 3 major key points being heroism, fear, and time. For example, Proof of a Hero is more towards heroism. Meanwhile, Forest and Hills battle music fits perfectly up near fear. Time is a bit more complicated though. By time I mean like age, or ancient, or memories, nostalgia and longing, or time, you know? So while the old jungle battle music fits time pretty well by sounding ancient in its own right, so does the song The Song of an Old Tale. Which was used in one of the online houses that your character can live in. Now back to the battle music. The old swamp music is an absolute favorite of mine, because it gets right to the point. It's fast-paced and intense. It's designed to freak you out. The old volcano battle music is the same. Fast-paced and intense. First generation was a bit darker than the later generations, and fighting monsters was much more brutal and less forgiving. The best battle music of Generation 1, though, in my opinion, is hands down the Old Desert. This is another song that abandons the classical orchestra for something more unique. This song uses a choir, and in a terrifying way. The music of the first generation focused more on setting a tone of despair, so when you finally heard that Quest Complete song, the sense of relief was multiplied and you were filled with warm euphoria. Generation 1 is ranked number 4 for me out of the 5 generations. The games lacked a lot of character and charm that the later games kind of exploded with. I'm excited to continue this series with discussion on Generation 2, because that's when Monster Hunter had begun to find its voice. Finally, here's some trivia. There's a musical reference to Resident Evil 4 in the old swamp area with the Veggie Elder. You can hear a quiet little tune. Wait, after doing some digging, I discovered that this track isn't a track at all, but rather just a sample loop they used. Speaking of sample loops, more on this topic in the Generation 2 video.